Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to this inspiration day with me and Sweet Poppy Stencils. Today my fellow design team members and I have a fabulous lineup for you, and I am super excited to start it with this simple little card using the fabulous Rosehip stamp and the Sunburst stencil. I'm going to colour it with these gorgeous little coloured pencils, which are on sale at the moment, so grab them. You will see when I start to colour what a beautiful blend they make. So grab these. I think they're £10. My goodness, you can't go wrong for that. In that, you get this set of 12 gorgeous coloured pencils. So I'm going to be stamping our Rosehip stamp with VersaFine Clear Nocturne. That gives us a nice crisp image and that we can colour with it without smudging. If you can see, I have coloured the rose hips with coloured pencils, but then added some glossy accents to give it just a bit of extra shimmer and shine. I've added a few little dots with enamel accents. The colour that I've laid down here is one of my favourites of all time. It's Blueprint Sketch. This little beautiful stamp is from the Beautiful Day stamp set, and I've just got, this says smile, it's your birthday, and I've just because I thought the smile might overpower the simplicity of this little card, I've just masked off the smile and it got it's your birthday. So you can see I've coloured it in with the coloured pencils. We are going to have so much fun with this. The size card that I'm using is 7 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and then I've just used a corner rounder punch to round the edges there. So if you're ready, we will get started. So, as I said, 7 centimetres by 14 centimetres. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my Rosehip stamp right in, coming up from the bottom of my stamp. No, coming up from the bottom of my card. Just going to put it into my stamp press. So we're going to put it sort of there from the bottom, just peeping up over there. A good inking. And I always do a dab, 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 because that way you don't scrape it across, because you don't get as even a coverage or a thorough as coverage. There we go. And then we're just gonna make sure that's right in the corner of your stamp press, so that if you need to do it again, you know exactly where to line it up. I'm just using a blackboard eraser here. I just find that helps me smooth it over really nicely. I'm just going to cover my ink pad. There we go. Look at it. And look at the detail on this stamp. I mean, even if you're not a colourer, my goodness, this is going to be a doddle. Truly, it is. So we are going to start by colouring. That's so much fun. So as I said, you get 12 little colours in here. Rose hips, I know they're traditionally sort of ready, but I'm going to make them a bit of a blue with a bit of purple in it. Okay, so I'm going to start in with this blue colour. And I'm using a scissor motion, so this sort of scissor motion here along the shading and along the round edge. I'm going to leave a bit of white space in the middle. So what that does is it makes the whole thing pop. So I'm going to go around and do all the blues first, but you could do it each little bulb together. And I'm going to put the blue down, and then I'm going to come back with the light purple, and then I'm going to colour over the top. but not completely. So you'll still see a bit of that blue shining through. Like I say, just taking real extra care to leave a bit of white space in the middle. Actually, it doesn't have to be in the middle. I'm doing that because these are really sort of round, bulbous little, what are they? Little rose hips, I guess. That's what they are. That's why it's called a rose hip. You can leave a sort of curve. If you were going to do a flower or something, you could leave a little curve along the edge. I like to turn the page because then you continue to get this rounded shape. There you go. Look how quick and simple. And then I'm just gently going to come over the blue with my purple. Now, my goodness, I'm just loving this already. I'm going to do a couple more and then I'll bring it close up so you can see. Now, if you wanted to, you could do a second coat, make it darker. So you can see there a bit of purple over the blue, but letting the blue shine through underneath. So where you've got the two colours, you just land up with this lovely blend. And these blend so nicely. They're really quite delicate colours. And they go so well over these little rose hips. So there we go. There's our little base colour. I'm now going to come in with my two greens. So in this set, you've got the two, actually you've got two blues, a purple, two greens, and then some lovely yellows and oranges, bit of red in there. Right, so my greens. Again, keep this scissor motion going. And I'm not being too careful to make sure I cover. There's some white space happening underneath this. I do go in the direction of the leaves. And I'm just gently, again, this scissor motion. And you can see the white space still. As I said, that just lets things pop a bit. And of course, you know, how leaves and petals move in the breeze. That's sort of, so leaving the white space just gives that illusion there. Okay, so I've done all my light green. I'm going to come in with the darker green now. And I'm just going to go, so you can see on this stamp, there's some shaded areas at the edge of the leaves. And I'm just going to, again, using this scissor motion, come down the edge of the leaves. You can, if you wish, go down the centre of that leaf there. I'm going to do a couple and then I'll bring it right up close so you can see. Again, remembering there's a bit of white space in there. Now look at that. Isn't that fun? I mean, this is not an exact science. As we know, this is nature and everything's different. No two leaves are the same. And there are no specific rules. So if you want to go in darker, enjoy. If you want to do it in a different way, please do that too. It's about having fun. And this is a really simple little card. Could be for an occasion like I've used it for your birthday. It could even lend itself to a sympathy card or a get well soon card. Ever so subtle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the stems. I've got the darker green in my hand, so that's what I'll start with. And again, because the shading on these stamps are so clever, don't have to be too careful. I'm just now going to pick up my lighter green and just go over it in patches. So you'll get that double colour, but only in part. There you go. I really rather like that. Now, if you wanted it a bit more dramatic, please feel free to press a bit harder, and you'll get something a lot darker. I am going to colour in the tops of these little rose hips with just a darker blue. Now that's my preference. You could use a red, a purple, a burgundy, whatever. This is art, and you're allowed to colour it however you like. There we go. I am super happy with that. Look at it. It's just lovely. So simple. I'm going to put my lovely pencils away. I'm then going to come in with my stamp. Now, there's two ways you can do this when you're masking off. Some people like to ink the stamp and then put their tape over to mask it. And sometimes I do that. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my whole stamp. Mask it off. Like that. But because the S has got a big swirl on it, I'm just going to use an additional piece of tape to make sure that I don't get any further marks. And then I am going to stamp it onto the bottom right here of my little card. I've stamped it crooked, but you know what? C'est la vie. Okay, I'm going to now pick up my gorgeous stencil. Look at this one. I just love it. You can use it, you know, you can put anything in this focal point, or you can use it just as I'm going to here to just accentuate the top of these lovely little rose hips. I want to get as many of these little baubles in, so I'm going to do it just like that. And I'm going to bring in one of my brushes, my blueprint sketch. I'll use the one that I've already started. I always like to just tap off a tiny bit here. And then in a circular motion, I'm just going to bring the colour around those little bubbles. And then into the circle. So you're just creating a bit of a glow around that inner circle to act as a sort of a halo around the little rose hip buds. There we go. You don't have to do it too heavily. Lovely. Oh, I love it. Look at that. It just pops, doesn't it? Look how simple that was. Okie dokes. We're nearly there. I'm just going to get my corner rounder punch. And because I'm working on 300 GSM card, I'm just going to punch the pages individually. Oh, I dropped that one. There we go. Look at that. I love it. Okay, to finish off, I am going to put my enamel accents, my few little dots on the top there, and then my glossy accents around my little rose hips. Now, I'm going to do that I'm going to work, when you're doing something like this, you want to work from the top down. Otherwise, you're likely to smudge it as you go along. So to create these tiny little dots, I always have a practice. Then I know how much pressure, I know how much is coming out the bottle. I'm just going to do it in between the little starburst stencil. That's fine. Lovely. Great. And then my glossy accents. Now, this takes a little while to dry. I've always got a little pin next to me because sometimes the bottle does gloop up. That's a technical term. Did you know that? Gloop up. Well, it's really glooped up. There we go. This is well loved and well used. So we're just going to pop a tiny bit of this. It finds its own level. So I'm just dabbing it on the page. I tend not to try to shake the bottle because you don't want too many bubbles in this. If you do get any bubbles, just pop them with a little pin or needle. But then what you've got to do is once you've done this, then you just leave it alone and let it dry. Let it dry flat. So as I say, the glossy accents, this thick liquid medium, finds its own level. So I do hope you've enjoyed that today. I do hope you'll stay tuned for the rest of the day when the rest of the design team bring you their creations. So thanks so much for watching. I would love to see your makes, so if you do, please tag me. And until the next time, bye for now.